back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Owen Debrincat, and today I'm going to review the latest Bond film that has been delayed so many times during the pandemic, and now the movie is finally here. No Time to Die. This is directed by a guy that I cannot pronounce his name. I'll put his name right down there. I apologize if I can't say his name right. This movie stars Daniel Craig in his final outing as James Bond, including Léa Seydoux, Naomie Harris, Jeffrey Wright, Rami Malek, Lashana Lynch, Ana de Armas, Ben Whishaw, Ray Fiennes, and Christoph Waltz. James Bond has left active service. His peace is short-lived when an old friend from the CIA turns up asking for help, leading Bond onto the trail of a mysterious villain armed with dangerous new technology. Now, to me, when it comes to James Bond, I'm not the hugest 007 fan, but I do like James Bond. I think this is one of the most longest running movie franchises ever. I do love the Connery Bond movies for the most part. Probably from Goldfinger, I would say, and then the Bond movies from Connery goes a little bit down. Diamonds Are Forever, why Connery, why? And Roger Moore, I think Roger Moore, in my opinion, is the most unappreciated. I don't love Roger Moore as Bond, but a lot of people complain how goofy he is and all that stuff and he's too old. That's not really the problem. The movies I'm not a huge fan of. I like some of it, like Live and Let Die or The Spy Loved Me. I don't mind those movies, but Roger Moore, not a fan of most of the movies, but I don't understand still the hate that Roger Moore deserved. I do think Dalton is one of the most underrated Bonds though. I love License to Kill. I think it's one of the most underrated Bond films of all time. He's a badass Bond. The Bond that sticks with its source material right. And George Lazenby, even though he did one movie on Emergency Secret Service, I thought he's very underrated. And of course, Brosnan is my least favorite Bond. I think, you know, GoldenEye was really good, but the rest are all terrible, especially Die Another Day, which was my biggest guilty pleasure, but to me also the worst Bond film I've ever seen. But when Daniel Craig came in, he is definitely the most popular Bond. And I remember from Casino Royale, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, I remember, like, people are really hating on Daniel Craig at first because he's got blonde hair and blue eyes, and everyone was so wrong when Casino Royale came out. And then after that, Quantum of Solace came out, and that movie sucked, and then Skyfall came out, that movie was great, and Spectre was disappointing. So No Time to Die basically can go in two different ways. But I was excited for this film because when we finally announced that this is going to be the final outing for Daniel Craig as James Bond, I'm really excited. But like I said, this movie could go two different ways. It could be great like Casino Royale and Spectre, or it could be like Quantum of Solace and Spectre. Now, before I continue on my review, I want to dedicate this review to my friend Ethan. Ethan is the hugest Bond fan. He loves James Bond. You know him, he's on my channel, he's been in my top 10 videos. So I want to dedicate this video to him because he's a huge Bond fan. And one day we will do a big ranking of all the James Bond movies. I've finally seen all the Bond films leading up to this film. So we will do a ranking of that very, very soon. Not right now, when it comes. So look forward to that. So Ethan, buddy, dedicating this review to you. So, this could go in two different ways. Is No Time to Die good like Casino Royale, or bad like Quantum of Solace? I gotta say, guys, I really loved No Time to Die. I thought this movie is the perfect conclusion to Daniel Craig as Bond. Because most conclusions to Bond movies are just, yeah, there's never been much of a great conclusion to a Bond outings like Connery and all that stuff. But somehow Daniel Craig did his finale justice. I really love No Time to Die. I think it's a really good finale. And that is thanks to Daniel Craig as Bond. He is fantastic in this film. It's really no surprise because I love Daniel Craig. He's my favorite Bond with Connery. Those two are my favorite Bonds of all time. Daniel Craig is fantastic in this movie. He plays Bond really well. He has a bit of charm. He has a bit of humor too. But he gets old school at times, and also he gets modern at times. And that's what I like about Daniel Craig as Bond. He mixes those two together and make one cool James Bond. But the rest of the cast in this movie are also fantastic. We got Léa Seydoux returning as Madeleine from Spectre. Now, in my opinion, I didn't like her character in Spectre. I thought her character was okay in Spectre. She wasn't bad, she's not the worst Bond girl, but I just thought it's okay. So it's really weird that she's returning in this movie, and you can tell why she's returning in this movie, and honestly, she improved in this movie. I think she actually did a really great job in this film as Madeleine in this film. She definitely has an arc in this film, which obviously I'm not going to spoil. This is a non-spoiler review. But yeah, I think Léa Seydoux does a great job returning as Madeleine. Also, Lashana Lynch in the film. Lashana Lynch plays Naomie in the film, the new 007 agent since James Bond's retire. She is taking over. I really like that arc in the film. I thought that's very interesting to see another 007 agent. I thought that arc is really good and creates a good rivalry between her and Bond. She's not just a normal Bond girl like most James Bond movies. She's actually just more of an ally to James Bond. And I really like that in the film. I thought that's very interesting, and I really like their chemistry. Their chemistry in this film brings up some humor, but they're really good together in this film. I actually like their chemistry together. Also, Ana de Armas in the film plays Paloma in the film. She's an agent that works for Bond in one scene of this film. She really wasn't much in the film, but when she was in the film, she does a really good job in the film. She's badass, she's kooky, she brings out some humor, and also, she's probably the hottest Bond girl I've ever seen in a while. She is freaking attractive in this film. But also, let's talk about Rami Malek as Stefan. I literally was excited for him because I love Rami Malek as an actor. And I think the casting for him as a Bond villain, I think it was really good. And some people are pretty mixed by his character. I honestly really loved Rami Malek in this film. I think he plays a really good Bond villain. He's very mysterious, but also kind of terrifying at parts. Like, his voice in the film is very, very menacing, and his screen presence, you're really scared that he is around because you know what he's doing. He's a smart villain, and Rami Malek does a really good performance. Not as great as, like, Lashif from Casino Royale. He's not as great as him because I think Lashif is one of my favorite Bond villains of all time. But he is good enough. He is good enough for this conclusion of the Daniel Craig Bond series. And the rest of the cast, like Naomie Harris as Moneypenny or Ray Fiennes as Q, Ben Whishaw as M, even Jeffrey Wright returning from Casino Royale. I think everyone in this movie is fantastic. But what stood out for me in this film are the action scenes. The action scenes are filmed fantastic. I heard this movie is actually filmed in IMAX cameras. I didn't see this movie in IMAX, but my god, I can see where the IMAX cameras can be because the action is scaled really, really well. I love the way this movie is shot. The action is definitely very intense in this film, but also there are some really great cinematography when it comes to the action scenes. There's a stairway fight scene that looks like it's basically one shot, and I thought the director of this movie, again, can't say his name, I really apologize, but he directed this movie really, really well. It's probably some of the best cinematography I've seen out of the Daniel Craig Bond films because the look of this movie and the cinematography, with the action and the scale of the movie in general, it is well freaking done. There's also a forest scene that's very, very suspenseful as well. And this movie is suspenseful at parts, which I was really, really surprised by this movie. It's not just an action-packed film, it's also suspenseful. And also this movie is very heartfelt at times, obviously without spoiling it. This movie is probably the most emotional since Casino Royale. There are some really emotional moments in this film that I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they're going in that direction in a Bond film. I really like that. And obviously the score in this movie is fantastic. It mixes the old school Bond theme and also like old school Bond theme with a modern twist to it. The score of this movie is really good. What do I think of Billie Eilish's No Time to Die song? I actually really like this song. I think it's a really good Bond song. I'm gotta say, like, very unpopular opinion, but I might like this more than Adele's Skyfall. I'm not gonna lie. I think this Bond song, I could listen to it. I think it's a really good song, and I like it even more and more when I listen to it. The whole story, the dialogue of this film, the pacing of this film, this is a pretty long Bond film. Like, most Daniel Craig Bond films are long, except for Quantum of Solace. It's the shortest Daniel Craig Bond film. This is a long film, but what's good about this film, it really doesn't feel long. It feels great because the pacing of this film was so interesting. It combines the action, but also a mystery as well. It's a very good mystery type film where Daniel Craig goes on this journey to find this villain and see this new technology, which obviously I'm not going to spoil. You have to watch the movie to find out what the technology is, but I find that so investigating, and that's really, really good in this film. I love the pacing of this film, and the story of this film is well done with the action scenes. This is how I want a Bond film to be. Very interesting, investing, maybe not as goofy like Roger Moore in my opinion. I do think he's a bit goofy as Bond. Just don't kill me, Ethan. I know he loves Roger Moore. But I like that a Bond film goes in the direction that Ian Fleming goes for. A dark assassin with some dark humor with it. And I think No Time to Die did that for me. But I gotta say, guys, I'm not gonna spoil anything about it, but the ending of this film might be a thing that you're not gonna expect in a Bond film. That is all I'm going to say. Guys, overall, No Time to Die, thank God for all that wait. For all that wait for this movie getting released. this movie exceeded my expectations. I really love No Time to Die, guys. This is probably one of the best action films of the year. I think Daniel Craig is fantastic for his final outing as James Bond. Great final outing movie. The rest of the cast is great. The action scenes are filmed fantastic. The action gets intense and fun. I love the cinematography. The score was great. The story throughout, it's definitely one of the better Bond films. Definitely better than Spectre, 100%. I would say, thank God we got 3 great Daniel Craig Bond films. And No Time to Die, I am so thankful that this is my 3rd favorite out of the Daniel Craig Bond movies. Like, out of all the 3 good Bond films. Because I really loved No Time to Die. I loved all 3 of them individually. So No Time to Die is actually a really good finale to Daniel Craig's Bond. And it gets me more curious who is going to be the next Bond, because obviously this franchise is never going to die, because it's probably one of the biggest franchises ever. They're obviously going to keep going. I am going to give No Time to Die an A. So guys, that is my review for No Time to Die. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments below. And also, what is your favorite James Bond movie, and who is your favorite Bond actor? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below: Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. And have a nice day. Name's Bond. James Bond.